They call me Mighty, and they call me Mystic, and that's the way I like it. Today on CMS, sounds like a TV show. Today on our Creepypasta series, we're talking about an SCP. Now, for those who don't know, they are SCP. Stands for So an SCP is usually like it doesn't really have a name, and if it does have a name, it's a nickname. But usually the creatures that we have SCPs are classified by number. So SCP-096. In the future, we will do SCPs like SCP-722, stuff like that. They just have numbers really. So SCP actually stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect. It is full of mostly dangerous, strange creatures and entities that violate natural law. Just like creepypastas, however, they are not real. So just think that every SCP I talk about is contained and is part of a fake story unless otherwise said so. So now that that's out of the way, we can start. SCP-096, otherwise known as the Shy Guy, is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.4 meters in height. Its arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, meaning his skin does not have color, and he has no sign of any body hair. His jaws can also open 4 times larger than a normal human. He is normally extremely docile, meaning he follows orders and does everything he is told. However, when someone views his face, he will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress and will start crying. The drawing of him that you will see right now is going to be of him in his emotional distress. After screaming and crying for a while, it will proceed to kill the person who saw its face. In fact, even if the viewing is done through video recording or a photograph, he will still proceed to kill you. So basically, if you look at him through a video, his face through a video or a photograph, he'll still come to kill you. But the thing is, it doesn't really work with fan art. So if you draw fan art of him and you view his face, he's not going to come to kill you because that's not his actual face. That's just a drawing of him. So that doesn't count. So you get what I'm trying to say? But anyways, like all SCPs, SCP-096 has to be contained in a cell, which for him is a 5 meter times 5 meter times 5 meter airtight steel cube. Since this SCP doesn't like people to see his face, there are no security cameras in the room. Instead, pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors are used to ensure his presence inside the cell. At this point, no known material or method is able to impede him after his face is viewed. As I said, he is docile and will stay in his cell unless someone sees his face. When someone sees his face, nothing can stop him. When someone sees his face, nothing can stop him, even if the person viewing its face is extremely far away. It will still find and kill them. It somehow knows if someone sees its face. Who knows? The slowest he can go is 35 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast. And, well, he can pretty much walk like a normal human. The fastest he can go is actually unknown, so he can go really fast, I guess. But he can walk like a normal human too, so 35 kilometers per hour is not the slowest he can go, but still makes sense. However, when you're viewing artistic depictions, like I said before, like fan art or whatnot, no reaction from SCP-096 will be triggered, so that's cool. You can still view some art, because the art isn't really his actual face, because technically everyone who's seen his face can't necessarily draw it, because they'll die. So, I have one story today, but it's not too short, so yeah. SCP-096 was first discovered by the SCP Foundation in its natural habitat near a mountain in an unknown place. The Foundation sent Retrieval Team Zulu 9A to capture the creature. Upon landing their chopper near the monster, it turned towards them, allowing all of the team, except for the captain who had turned his back in order to talk to a doctor, to see its face, causing it to intensely cry before violently attacking them. The team used all of their weaponry to damage the monster, but to no avail as it shrugged the attacks off and managed to kill almost all of the team except for the captain. Then the backup team Zulu 9B arrived and were told by the surviving captain to not look at its face, since he had figured out the reason why the monster attacked his team. They put a bag on its head and load it to their chopper before sending the monster to a Foundation site. So that was the story of our first SCP on the channel. Keep in mind the SCP ones will most likely be shorter, mainly because all SCPs are mainly just put into a cell. They don't really have stories. Well, they do actually, how they were found, so we have some stories on that. And I think really the main short ones would probably, they can all be short. Our next video will be a mythical creature, and that one's really short because it's not that important of a mythical creature, but it's got some importance to it, and it's a pretty good mythical creature, but that's next time, so yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.